Hey everybody, it's Jake Mace, the vegan athlete, and I'm here in the middle of a week-long trek in northern Arizona in Oak Creek Canyon, Sedona. How beautiful does that look behind me? It looks like I'm in Sedona, but I'm not in Sedona. I'm actually in Scottsdale. This is not one of my hikes, but it looks just like it because this is a water feature. It's a pondless stream that looks as if it came from Oak Creek Canyon, Sedona. If I stand up here, you'll see that I'm actually at an apartment complex in Scottsdale. There's a residence living just above, there's a pool to my left. And in the middle of this apartment complex in Scottsdale, there's this incredible water feature that looks like God put it here himself or herself. It's a pretty amazing feature to have in the middle of this populated area. And the reason why I'm here videoing this water feature is because I really believe in water features in the Phoenix area. And for the past 4 years, as a hobby on the side, I've been tinkering with my pond and my stream and my waterfall at my home in Tempe. And the reason why I know anything about water features is because I took a class at the Desert Botanical Garden with my man Paul Holdeman, the pond gnome. Why do they call you the pond gnome?
You know, it's something my wife came up with, that she felt that what we do is magical, and she was looking for a way to name our business something that was magical. A gnome is a magical creature that lives in the forest, and that's what we do, is create forested areas in the middle of the city.
It looks like a gnome could live right here.
It does, doesn't it?
This is an amazing, I've never seen an apartment complex that has such an epic water feature like this. This is incredible.
There are very few, and it's the envy of the apartment community here in North Scottsdale.
Yeah. Why doesn't every apartment complex have a feature like this?
Budget and lack of information, probably. What most of the other apartments don't know is that these guys are charging an $80 a month premium to anybody that has a view of this area. So it increases income for the community.
Yeah.
And yet when they hear the price tag to do something like this, it's usually, oh, well, we don't have that in our budget. Well, you would if you did it, because you would have a bigger budget.
So the people who live in the apartments along your stream here,
yes,
they're paying an $80 a month premium, and there's a wait list to get an apartment that looks to the water feature.
There is a waiting list to get any of these apartments that have a view of the water features here.
And you said there's some residents on another part of the community that are on the wait list that want to move once a spot opens.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's amazing. So they're all maybe making money off this water feature.
They absolutely are. It increases the income of the community, and the owner actually is so happy with what it's done for his community that he hired us last year to do a $15,000 night lighting job in here, so everybody can see it at night.
So at night this is lit up?
At night this is all lit up with low voltage LED lighting. It's really amazing.
So my two questions that I have for you, and that I always get as doing ponds as a hobby, you do it professionally, I do it as a hobby. Number one is, how can you justify this much water in the Phoenix area when it's a desert?
Would you believe we're running this over half the year on rainwater?
On rainwater?
On rainwater.
You're harvesting rainwater for this half the year from where?
From the parking lot north of here. So the parking lot all on the north side of the complex actually is a watershed that, or a catchment, that drains into this, what once was just a retention basin. Okay. And underneath, at the base of each of the little streams in here, we have big tanks buried in the ground that are capturing that stormwater and holding it, and we're recirculating the feature out of these underground tanks.
Can you show us one of these tanks? Where are they at?
You're looking at one right here.
So there's a tank, or multiple tanks underneath here?
There's a 3,000 gallon tank right here where the water feature comes to an end and running all the way underneath Pam's feet there.
Because there's no pond, it's just a pondless stream.
Right. Rather than having the water feature run into an open body of water, which is a safety concern in an apartment complex. They have these open bodies of water, and there's always these safety concerns about kids and what might happen there. Right. So we tank it underground, cover it in a permeable rock structure so that the water percolates right through. So where the water comes into the tank, anything that's debris oriented will screed out of the water as the water's dropping through the rock and into the tank. And then the pumps that are down in the bottom of the tank recirculate the water through the living stream area, keeping the fish, the frogs, the birds, and the dragonflies and all the other wildlife happy. Not many people know this, but 90% of all the wildlife in Arizona lives within sight of a riparian area.
Right.
So we're building little riparian areas in what was once an area full of wildlife, but is now a concrete jungle.
A lawn, a grass lawn, uses way more water than a pond, and a pond is a beacon of life for the native wildlife.
That's correct. University of Arizona did a study on the average backyard lawn versus the average backyard pond, and found that a yard that has a lawn in it uses a lot more water than a lawn that has a couple of trees, a garden, and a pond.
Can we go see where the water begins and how it flows from the parking lot into the feature?
I'd love to.
Let's go.
So this is where we're getting over half of the water that we use to run this water feature all year long is coming from right here.
It's a parking lot.
It's a parking lot. So it's got whatever oil drips out of the cars, petroleum distillates of various kinds, coolant, and whatever else anybody spills in the parking lot.
Because I got here and you told me that it's taking rain runoff from the parking lot, and I'm like, there's going to be oil and cigarette butts and all kinds of crap in the water.
We have a way to deal with that.
How do you do it?
We're going to run the water through a filter system that was designed by Mother Nature, and we just knocked it off.
So this is an example of a pooling area in the parking lot.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of pooling going on right here.
And it's going through the storm drain.
Exactly.
And then the storm drain takes it into your river where the river starts.
Into a desert wash, essentially.
And you're using the rocks as a filtration system.
Exactly. As the water tumbles over the rocks, rolling into our system, it's the cigarette butts, the cans, and things like that are taken out by some driftwood snags that we have in the middle of it. And then the petroleum distillates and stuff is left behind on the rocks.
And you can see it. It's raining today, which is actually pretty rare that it rains in Phoenix.
Yeah, right.
But you can see how this first area is very gunky.
Right.
But as it goes down the river, it gets cleaner and cleaner.
Exactly.
And so let's see these logs that you use to catch all the big debris. So if you have like a cigarette butt or any kind of trash or like a fast food cup or something,
these logs catch the debris that would normally end up in my system. So
and clog it up.
We set up these driftwood snags through, and as the water's rolling down through here, it's getting caught up within the rocks and the driftwood, and then my guys come in after it dries off and they clean it all up.
And when I go do these epic hikes in Wet Beaver Creek area, Oak Creek Canyon, all the flash flood debris does that naturally.
Yeah, exactly.
You're just copying Mother Nature.
Washes right up onto the side at the high water line during the flood, and then as the water drops down, it leaves you with a clean basin.
So you're not really playing God, you're just copying God.
Mother Nature was my inspiration, for sure.
That's awesome. It looks like Mother Nature. So as we go further down the stream, we start getting into the pondless stream area.
Yeah, as what happens in nature, there's a confluence.
Yeah.
So this is our perennial stream that's running all the time, and it's being filtered by zooplankton, bacteria, and plants.
Wow.
And then this is our desert wash that carries floodwater down and carries it right into our living stream system.
So since it's raining right now, underneath these rocks, there's water trickling into your stream.
Exactly. There's water there is actually water underneath these rocks trickling into the stream.
But we're still walking on it.
Exactly.
Now, what keeps all the water in this area?
It doesn't. We allow it to perk. We allow it to perk into the ground because we're taking a lot more storm water than we need. So in the perennial stream, we have a heavy-duty rubber membrane that's underneath the rock.
So all through here is the rubber liner.
Yeah, exactly. Underneath the rock work, there's a rubber liner where we're recirculating water all year long, and during the summer months, we absolutely want to contain that water and not have any leaks.
And they call it EPDM liner?
That's correct.
Is that right?
Yes.
See that? I know something.
Very good.
I took your class before.
You were listening.
I was listening.
And underneath here, what we have is an erosion-controlled geotextile fabric, which just keeps erosion from taking place, but allows the water to perk through and allows
the water can permeate that fabric, but the fabric keeps it from creating like pockets through the clay or something.
Keeps a cut from happening. Keeps dirt from being carried away by storm water.
You have the lilies, you have the water nasturtiums. What other plants do you have in here?
Taro, canna, longwood iris. There's aquatic butterfly bush.
What kind of wildlife do you have in here? You have some toads, frogs.
There's these guys, which are real shy, so we're not going to get any video of them, but
they come out at night a lot.
Lowland leopard frogs.
I see.
And there are the Gambusia finis is in here, which is our vector control.
And they eat mosquito larvae.
Exactly. Anything smaller than them that moves is food.
They're like piranhas.
Yes.
Like little piranhas.
Yeah, exactly. Little
Very
1.5 inch piranhas, and if they can get it in their mouth or even tear it apart, they're going to eat it.
And so if a kid wanted to come in here and play in the stream under parental supervision, they could.
Even without it, the kids come in here after school and they play in the stream all the time. So it's something that we're actually used to.
And you made this with that in mind?
We did. Yeah, we kept it shallow. We kept the stream bodies really wide because kids like to build dams. We carried the rubber up the side and made it canyon-like, so you can see that we have actually a foot or so of rubber on the banks to allow the kids to build dams and divert water without actually running it out of the stream.
Yeah.
We actually built it knowing that there would be kids playing in it all the time.
So Paul, you're down there, what looks like stepping stones. Did you make that
So
for that purpose?
Exactly. So we made the stream nice and wide so that we could put some stepping stones in for the kids to play on and chase frogs and fish on.
That's great.
If they want to walk right down the middle of the stream, we've given them the ability to do this. Most of your man-made streams won't have stepping stones like this, and the reason is because people aren't thinking far enough ahead. They tend to make their streams just as wide as they want the stream to come out.
Right.
So they'll cut the stream and say, oh, I want a 3-foot stream. So they cut themselves a 3-foot stream bed, and then by the time they get it rocked in, they end up with a 1-foot stream bed, 1-foot stream. So we cut the stream bed nice and wide, and that gives us the ability to meander it and naturalize it and put a lot of boulder outcroppings within the stream bed, which gives wildlife a place to hide, and it gives kids a place to play.
Because this is like a magnet for kids and for adults.
It is. Water's a magnet for everybody. I mean, let's face it, when you go out on your epic hikes, where do you go?
I only go to where there's water.
Riparian areas, always. Nobody goes out to a dry...
I don't want to go 3 days in the desert. I go 3 days to get some water.
Everybody goes, when people vacation, they go to the water.
Right.
People are attracted to water, and when people pay premiums for lots, it's generally because it's waterfront property.
And you've got a pool right next door, but I really have no interest in looking at the pool. I just want to look at this.
It's a pool.
Yeah, exactly.
There's lots of them.
even though it has water in it, this is a different kind of water.
Exactly.
This is the way water should look.
This is the way water should look. Crystal clear, but with lots of light.
And you said that at least 50% of the year, this feature is going off rainwater.
Yeah, it depends on our rain cycles. We're catching this big stream here. We're catching 3,000 gallons of stormwater in it, and then we have 4 other smaller features that all have 1,000-gallon tanks at the base of them. So we've got 7,000 gallons of stormwater every time we get a 1-inch rain event that we capture. And depending on the time of year, that 7,000 gallons of water will last us a couple of months.
For folks that don't do ponds and haven't done a pond yet, just to visualize it, the water goes from the parking lot down into the river, goes into your tank that you have down there, and then you have a pump sitting down there that pumps the water up the waterfall and recirculates it.
Recirculates the water from the tank.
Right, so the waterfall water that's crashing down these waterfalls here is parking lot water.
That's correct.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah, look how clear it is. And this came off the parking lot last night. We're harvesting the stormwater instead of letting it flush all those petroleum distillates down into the Gulf of Mexico.
Into drinking water.
And we're turning it into, well, at least life-sustaining water for all the wildlife in the area.
I mean, look at how healthy your plants look. You've got toads that are living in here, and the gambusia are doing fine.
Yes.
So, obviously, you've created an ecosystem that works.
The microorganisms and things chew up all that debris that comes off the parking lot. Whatever makes it through our driftwood snags and our dry wash gets eaten up by the life force of the water.
That's the one thing I didn't think of. I didn't film that.
The plants fill in and overflow.
So Paul, what was this before it was this?
When they first invited me here, this was a big concrete koi pond.
Okay, just concrete. You can see the concrete.
It was concrete. You can see a big filter system over against the wall over there.
Okay.
And this was all filled with concrete. It was about a 16-inch deep koi pond. And every time it rained, the water would run off the parking lot and kill all the koi.
Oh my God! So it was like a koi pit of death.
Exactly. So I was invited here because they wanted me to help them keep the koi alive, and I told them, you're never going to keep the koi alive the way this is designed. And it actually was so ugly that nobody wanted to live in any of the apartments that looked down on it because it was a big concrete basin. And so now they've got a waiting list for those same apartments.
And when I took your class on water features and ponding, you always say you like a rubber liner better than concrete. Why?
The rubber liner is more serviceable. It's got a 20-year factory guaranteed lifespan to it, but even at that, that's if it's in the sun.
Yeah.
We're putting it underground and under rock and underwater. We think, we don't know for sure because this industry has only been around for about 30 years.
Right.
But we think it's probably got a 50-year lifespan to it.
Wow.
When we do get damage to it, it's fixable. We have systems for locating where the damage is. We repair the damage and it's stronger than new.
Wow.
Now let's go to concrete. If concrete cracks and you go to fix that crack, the ground underneath keeps moving and the concrete keeps moving.
We just had an earthquake here a couple days ago.
Yes, we did at Black Canyon City. That's right.
The earth is always moving, you know?
The earth is always moving, the ground is always shifting, and when concrete cracks, you can fix it, but it doesn't last very long. So when we repair liner, we give people a 2-year warranty on that repair.
Okay.
When we repair concrete, we give people an out-of-sight warranty. When we're out of sight, it's out of warranty.
Done. So the liner is a way better deal, and it's flexible, kind of like in the martial arts I do Tai Chi, and Tai Chi is soft and flexible.
Exactly.
It can absorb more force.
When tree roots grow into the side of it, the concrete cracks, and the rubber moves. Exactly. Right. Concrete cracks, a little bitty fissure, the roots come in and start expanding and expanding that crack. When the ground moves or the tree root pushes into the rubber just moves.
That's it.
And the most we have is maybe a little rock slide on the outside telling us that there's pressure coming in on the other side.
Right.
And we can readjust it. When you've got a concrete feature and you want to remodel it or make repairs to it, you got to rip out all the concrete and start over. When you've got a liner feature and you want to remodel it or move it around or make repairs, you just pull away the rock, move the rubber around the way you want it, and set the rock back in place, and you're good to go.
That's awesome.
Hundreds of dollars instead of thousands of dollars.
So whether it's a small scale backyard pond or a larger scale like this apartment pond, you like the rubber liner?
Yeah, we call this a living stream system, and yeah, it's pondless, which makes it very safe for kids. Yep. The other thing is when you use concrete, how natural does it look?
Because Mother Earth doesn't use concrete.
We have clients that tell us after we finish their yards that they'll have housewarming parties or yard warming parties, and people show up and say, how did you find a house with a spring in the backyard?
Yeah, they think it's real.
And they can't find the equipment, and they can't figure out how it runs, and how do you keep the water so clear? What are you using for filtration? We're using Mother Nature's formulas, and we're just containing the water using what amounts to a landfill liner. It's very strong, and in many ways, just like the Tai Chi, it's stronger than force. Underneath, there's a 1,000-gallon tank here and a pump right here. I'm standing on top of the tank right now.
So all the water runs from the parking lot down here into the tank.
That's
and then
correct.
pumps back up to the top.
And just recirculates using a 3,000-gallon-an-hour pump.
I'm thoroughly impressed, and people think that I enjoy doing these videos for the audience, but in reality, I'm doing these videos to get some ideas from you, from my pond.
Good.
But I really appreciate you having me out to see your masterful art here. This is really amazing.
I appreciate you coming out to see it.
We're gonna do some more videos with you on some other really cool ponds, including a pool that's a pond.
That's correct.
Subscribe to our channel, hit the like button. Where can somebody find out about you and the ponding stuff?
They can find me at pondgnome.com.
And you build the ponds, you maintain the ponds.
Yeah, living pondless waterfalls that just turn on and off that look like Mother Nature inspired, and then living water features, whether it's a stream or a pond, koi ponds, anything to do with putting a beautiful water feature in your yard, we're happy to help.
So go to pondgnome.com, check out Paul, and stay tuned for other videos with Paul and his amazing water features. Thanks.
Thank you.